What's up? I'm Big Sherm, and today we are writing raps for aspiring MCs. I'm going to do this step by step guide to help people write raps. I get a lot of questions or people who want to talk to me about it. So today we're going to do just that, and this is going to be for beginners. People who maybe wrote a rap or have never wrote a rap, maybe don't know much about music. So we're gonna be looking into that. And today, what we're gonna go over is bars. What is a bar? How long are bars? How many do I need? So we're gonna go over that kind of stuff today. Um, so let's get that question out of the way. What is a bar? A bar is usually like one rhyme. A bar is equivalent to a measure, if you know music. There are four bars in four measures. In those four bars, there's usually two sets of rhymes. So an example of a bar could be like, I'm just being me, boy, I feel great. That's one bar. Do this every day, no one can take it away. Two bars. So the end of the sentence is where you rhyme, and that usually determines the bar, and then the second bar is the completion of that rhyme. So again, you could say anything. You could say, woke up today with my toothbrush. Every day I'm out here um, eating loose cuts or whatever. So that's two bars. Um, Now the rhyme doesn't necessarily dictate the bar. You can have multi rhymes in one bar. So I could rhyme really quick and be like, I'm on my feet out in these streets, do it till it's complete. You don't want beef or whatever. So that's actually still two bars, but I rhymed two extra times in the middle of it. We're gonna completely disregard rhyming within rhymes for now, and we'll just get to writing basic bars. So I want to stress again that a bar is a measure, almost all the time. There are definitely exceptions to pretty much everything I'm going to say, but for the most part, you'll think of a bar as a measure. And if you don't know what that is, usually that's in rap at like the mid 90 tempo range, um, and other ones too. Two snares usually is the same length as a measure, because you'll have one in the middle of the bar and one at the end. So that's a good way to think about it. And I'll give you an example. I've got a beat here ready to load up. I just want to get some of this part out of the way. Um, so again, four bars is four measures. Usually the rhyme it lands on the snare. And so in this case, it would rhyme on the second snare. Um, so again, you lead up to the rhyming word, and then you go to the next part and you rhyme with that, and that's like two bars. And a lot of rap can be broken down, or if you have struggle with writing or what do you want to write about. Someone told me once that you know rapping is just writing two bars. It's just writing a rhyme, and you just do that over and over again. So let's see. All right, well, let's just get started. So I've got this beat available for you to practice with. This is something that I made, but it works kind of well for this. It's got a little bit of style to it, to kind of emphasize certain words if you're writing a rhyme and want to go that route. But let's just talk about writing a bar, and then we'll work our way up to 16s. Okay, so here's the beat. No structure, no arrangement, nothing like that. This is just a loop, and I did that on purpose for this, because it's a lot easier to write and structure your songs when it's not already structured for beginners. Later on in these tutorials, we'll get, you have to follow the arrangement of the song that's already produced, and so you have to be able to hear and know when the hooks are and the chorus and the verses and how long they are. But using this, we'll be able to count it. So let's start counting a bar. Actually, let's just start there. Starting now. bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, 4 bar. So that probably was a little confusing, but like, let's start with writing. So here's my pen and pad. What I like to do, so we're not gonna go into doing themes or topics or like punchlines or any of that kind of stuff. That gets a little bit more advanced. But we're just gonna start off with writing. So if you don't know what to write about, or you don't have anything in mind, we're gonna do this in kind of like a freestyle format where there's not, a theme or anything. We'll just start with, our first verse. What I like to do is say the first thing that comes to mind when I hear the beat. There's always something, you might not be thinking about it, but when you first hear a beat, you're always like, you got a word for it, or you got a phrase that you want to say. So I'm going to start mine with, now I'll move the camera so you can see, but coming in strong is the first thing I think of. So I'm coming in strong. Now we need it to be a full bar, so that's only half a bar. So I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. So I'm gonna write that down. Alright, so here's our first bar. It says, I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. So I use the first part of that phrase. I'm coming in strong is the first thing that came to my head. I use that to dictate what the rest of what I'm saying is. Now you could have said anything. You could say, I'm coming in strong. This is who we are, or whatever. And so our first rhyming word is buff. I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. So I realized I didn't rhyme on the snare. I've got my own style, so we're just gonna keep running with it though. So I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. So now you're like, all right, so that's 1 bar. We got 1 bar down. So now we need to rhyme with it and complete the second bar. So our rhyming word is buff. Coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. So for the sake of this, the first thing that comes to my head is tough. Now you could just start writing the next one and decide to rhyme later. But for beginners especially, it's best to just figure out what you're gonna rhyme with. That being said, I'm gonna write that down first. The tough. That being said, when I first started rhyming, I would try to rhyme with something different or crazy every time. Something I haven't rhymed, like words I haven't rhymed before. It's a great method to do that. But also what I found is that it kind of, and I was told this too back in the studio days, it almost doesn't matter what the rhyme word is, it's more how you use it. So you're like, oh, buff and tough, that's not a very interesting rhyme right there. But we'll try to find a way to use that. Now, so because I thought of this rhyme and I didn't want to forget it, I just wrote it in right at the very end of this, because I know that's where I want to end. Now, this is just one method, and I'll try to go through some other methods as we go in, but this is kind of like how I approach it, doing this type of freestyle over a loop or a beat, writing an 8 or a 16. So I'm coming in, I said like this, I'm coming in strong, look at me, I'm buff, tough. Alright, so that's the length of our 2 bars. So I'm coming in strong, look at me, I'm buff. They say I'm ferocious cause I'm so tough. So I'm gonna write that down. So again, what I'm doing in this method, this is a method for coming up with new things. I try to pick stuff related to the rhyming word. So like I said, I'm coming in strong, went with look at me, I'm buff, kept it in that. I could say anything, but for me, coming up with a full line, I'm using the rhyming word kind of determine what I'm going to say. So you're kind of working backwards. You can work forwards, that's fine too. I can do that on the next line, but so far we have I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. They said I'm ferocious, cause I'm so tough. So we got our first 2 bars here. And you can see that they are 2 lines long. So that's why I want you to have a notebook and paper with you. So now we're gonna think of our next thing. So now here we can continue rhyming with buff, tough. I could say rough, cuff, or whatever. Or you could switch it. You've already rhymed it, so you could just switch to a new rhyme. And that is an easier way to think of something a lot of times because you're not focusing on trying to, like, what else rhymes with octopus? I can only think of one thing or whatever. I'm struggling to think of a rhyming word. So after, one set of rhyme, after 2 bars, you can just switch the rhyme. You can do whatever you want. So we're focusing on doing long lines with a single rhyme at the end right now. No internal rhyming. We just want to get bars. We just want to have full bars, figure out our structure. So I said, I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. They said I'm ferocious, cause I'm so tough. So I thought of, you cannot ignore this, is the first thing I thought of. So I'm going to start with that. And that also kind of rhymes with ferocious, but again, I'm not really trying to rhyme in those. But for me, at this level, that just came up. But really, you're just kind of going over whatever comes in your head. You cannot ignore this. You cannot ignore this. I'm gonna switch the rhyme. It's gonna sound similar to buff, tough. I'm gonna say plug. So you're actually keeping the rhymes different because you're gonna be more apt to rhyme with the plug sound and do mug or bug or something like that. But you're keeping the internal rhyme of so it's switching, but it's staying similar to what it was, and that's a good way to keep your flow too, because you're saying similar things and switching it up. I could have rhymed buff with plug if I wanted to. You can rhyme in a lot of ways, but for the sake of this, I'm gonna say you cannot ignore this. Yes, I'm the plug. Third bar. Coming in strong, look at me, I'm buff. They said I'm ferocious, cause I'm so tough. You cannot ignore this. Yes, I'm the plug. So I'm gonna switch it, and I'm gonna do a not exact rhyme. And not exact rhymes are totally okay in rap. So instead of you cannot ignore this. Yes, I'm the plug. I'm coming after them. Got their money on the run. Right, there's our 4th bar. I said run because it was the first thing I thought of that sort of rhyme with plug. And when I said run, I kind of thought of like give them a run for their money. So in this case, I couldn't say that. So I said, I said got their money on the run. So instead of give them a run for their money, and got their money on the run. So it's kind of like a bar. Like I'm saying something in a different way than you would normally hear it. And that's just to get that rhyme to rhyme there, to fit there. You can say anything you want. But anyway, so we have our first 4 bars. And so we'll wait for the beat. Wait for it to go to the next phrase. Right? I said, I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. They said I'm ferocious, cause I'm so tough. You cannot ignore this. Yes, I'm the plug. I'm coming after them. Got their money on the run. This is what I does. So I often will start the next phrase or next bar with something that rhymes with the last one. So again, for the sake of this example, we're just doing whatever we think of. Not really any topic or pattern or meaning. So after I said, I'm coming after them, got their money on a run, I said, this is what I does. This is what I do. it's so simple in the with my crew. See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So I said, this is what I does. This is what I do. Oh, it's so simple. Spitting with the So I said, for my next, for our fifth and sixth bar. So I like to think about it in terms of 4 bars. 4 bars are a section. You need to write 4 sets of 4 bars, which each contain 2, to make a 16, which is pretty much always going to be the case in almost any rap song. It's going to be a 16. Sometimes you'll get 12s, but like it really just barely happens. So we're on our 5th and 6th bar. So I said, this is what I does. This is what I do. Oh, it's so simple. Rapping with the crew. So as you can see, what I like to do is put a little mark on my page every time I split to a new section of 4. Because I don't need to do it every 2 because that really won't help me. But doing it by 4s, I can kind of track my progress. So again, right there, I put 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. So I'm making these bars take the whole line, and that's a lot of times what you're gonna do. You can write it different ways, and I'll show you that in other videos. I write it kind of differently than this. I do like 3 sections or whatever, but don't worry about that stuff for now. So we're just trying to get our 8 off, our 16 off. So I said, this is what I does. This is what I do. This is what I do. Oh, it's so simple. Rapping with the crew. Every day I'm out here, always making moves. Moves. All right, so now we're kind of going along. It might take you longer to write these bars, and that's totally okay. I'm not really saying too much right now. This is just kind of a easy way that I rap, where I just kind of just saying whatever sounds right at the time. Now once we get into themes and topics and stuff, you're going to be taking more time on each bar because you're like, I got something to say. I need to figure out how to say it or what I'm trying to say. So for this one, though, we're just kind of going with simple stuff. We're just trying to rhyme, right? You know what I'm saying? So after I said, this is what I do, rapping with the crew, I said, always making moves, right? So again, I kind of took a simple do, crew, and kind of changed it to moves. So I'm going to rhyme with the moves sound, but it still has the ooh part of the rhyme. And again, that's just kind of what naturally made sense to me. Like both of these, I'm writing in kind of a 4-bar pattern where I'll rhyme 2 things, and then the next 2 are similarly rhyming to that. And then the next 4, I start a different rhyme. That's just kind of naturally what happened. I'm not going for that, but like I said, you can just switch the sound after every 2 bars, and it still sounds normal, and that's a lot of times what rap does. So we're on our 7th bar. I said, every day I'm out here, always making moves. Let's see, the first thing that came in my head is cartoon, which again is not an exact rhyme, but again for rap that really doesn't matter. When I started though, I would try to do exact rhymes, and that's totally okay and totally natural to be like, that doesn't rhyme it exactly, I want it to rhyme exactly. Then you figure out later what you can do with it. If you're having trouble thinking of a rhyme to your words, for beginners, rhyme zone, just go ahead and do it. Don't tell your rapper friends, but go ahead and do it. Everyone did it at some point. And I've got like rhyme dictionary books that people have given me too. I don't really use them at this point, but if you come and say I'm doing simple rhymes, buff, tough, plug, run, do, moves, whatever, but we'll get into multi-word rhymes. So when you're saying murderous, now you're gonna say courteous or searching them or worst of them, like, so you're having multiple parts rhyming in it. So if you want an exact rhyme for murderous, you're probably gonna want to use rhyme zone or something to find something that sounds exactly like that word, if you want to go that route. Otherwise, like I said, murderous, work with this, like it's close and it's got the same internal rhymings of the words. There's a lot of internal, micro, and macro levels to rhyming. So let's get our 8th bar off right here. I said, every day I'm out here, always making moves. Cartoon, right? So that's kind of how I want to do it. And so you heard the distance of that bar. I'm out here, always making moves, living my life page by page like a cartoon. It's too many words. So you're actually stripping it out. So a lot of the rhyming happens in iambic pentameter, which is like da 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 da. It's difficult because it's very natural for me at this point, but all my rhymes are right on the syllables. Now, a lot of times you're going to try and fit too many words in. It's kind of, you kind of got to feel it out and feel how much fits there. Dun, 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 dun. Like, you could just say those syllables, or you could be like, da, 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 you know. We're just doing simple, basic rhymes right now. So every time here, always making moves. I don't want to do cartoon anymore, so choose. I'm gonna use choose. Every day I'm out here, always making moves. Live the life I want to. That's the way I choose. I rap is in half bars, so I'll come up with half a bar at a time. A lot of people don't do that. I have actually broken this down to doing 3 parts to every bar, and you can just go so little on your internal rhyming. But for me, this is a good way to come up with it, because I'm just kind of building off of what I already said, and just doing simple rhymes. So we've got our 8 bars here, 8 lines. Separated the next one too, so we have 2, 4. So we have 8 bars already. We just need 8 more. We just need that again, and we have a full 16 verse, right? Okay. So here, let's hear it first. I said, I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. They said I'm ferocious, cause I'm so tough. You cannot ignore this. Yes, I'm the plug. I'm coming after them. Got their money on the run. This is what I does. This is what I do. Oh, it's so simple. Rapping with the crew. Every day I'm out here, always making moves. To live life I want to, just the way I choose. No, I'll never stumble. I'll never stumble, walking just fine. And low-key, though this is for beginners, you're getting a lot of internal secrets from the way that I have crafted bars. You're not getting my ultimate methods, that's for sure, and no one will ever. But yeah, so you're learning some bonus stuff that'll help carry you away. You're actually starting off on a stronger foot. Just kind of saying whatever comes to mind kind of gets you around having difficulty of what to write about. Generally, when you're going to do your first album or mixtape, you're going to have topics. You're going to have one about love, you're going to have one about money, you're going to have, or whatever. You're going to have one about a breakup, or one about your friend who died or something like that. So you're going to have themes to those. But a lot of times when you're first starting, it's kind of just get started writing. All the other stuff will come to you later, and you'll be able to refine your methods, which you'll create your own too. These are just the way I do things. A lot of people do things differently than I do. But generally, for learning how much a bar is and what it is, this will be the same. So we've got our 9th bar started. I said, no one never stumble, walking just fine. Da-da-da-da-da. Always go for mine. So let me, I'm just gonna write that down because I don't want to forget it. So I said, always go for myself. No, I never stumble, walking just fine. Always go for mine. So I'm filling in this. Instead of writing forwards, I'm still writing backwards. But for me, that makes sense because I know what the rhyme is. You can kind of build up to, as opposed to if you just start saying something, then you have to like force a rhyme, which can be cool too, but not always what you want to do. So I said, no, I'll never stumble, walking just fine. I'm getter, always go for mine. Getter, always go for mine. No, I'll never stumble, walking just fine. I'm a go-getter, always go for mine. You can see that last part is kind of spread out, and that's kind of a problem with writing out the rhyme ahead of time. It's a lot better to just do it in your head sometimes, but if you don't want to forget something, or you think it fits well, whatever's natural makes the most sense to me. So if something comes up naturally, you kind of just want to get it down. And a lot of times in past work, I'll take a whole page just to write down ideas, write down words, like write down themes or ideas for a song, or like things I'm going through, and use that to kind of develop what I'm going to rhyme about and how I'm going to rhyme. And then you can kind of start putting stuff in different places. A lot of rappers, including myself, kind of look at music as like a puzzle, where you're putting the pieces together. And that's totally accurate. So you're just kind of figuring out what fits. So I already realized that I said always go for mine. So I knew like I had that much length of that bar to fill. So I'm used to this. So I said I'm a go getter. I'm used to whatever thinking of it in the right amount of syllables. So I figured out pretty quickly what that is, but it could take some time. Maybe first you'll say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, always go for mine, and you'll quickly realize that doesn't fit. So you just gotta start shaving it down to smaller words or different ways to word things until it fits. But let's go to our 11th bar. So, no, I'll never stumble, walking just fine. I'm a go-getter, always go for mine. Yeah, I like money, bet you do too. Don't be afraid to stop this, pause this, play it back, whatever you need to do. Again, I'm going to give you the instrumental in the comments, so you can just be doing this at your own pace. Yeah, I like money, bet you do too. See, I kind of already rhymed. I rhymed with do, crew, moves, and shoes, so I've actually used all those words. So you can say them again. I often do use the same rhyme because I think of it in a way that only so many things that rhyme in the world, and so you gotta just start using those rhymes in different ways. So I could rhyme with "this is what I do" and "making moves" or "do" and "moves," a million times. But I can be saying completely different things. I could be saying something, breathtaking with one, or I could just be saying some dumb stuff with the other. So we're on our 11th bar. So yeah, I like money, bet you do too. Now we're starting our 12. Like money, bet you do too. I'm a real rapper. I'm working in the booth. And over time, you'll kind of pick up nuances of the beat. You're always going to be writing. I prefer writing to a beat than just writing. But you'll notice, some words will fit. You kind of want to see where the words fit in the way the beat is. And this kind of is good because it's got kind of like that funky element where it's pushing different parts of the bars and the measures up. So your words naturally emphasize different ways. And that's what's happening here too. Just naturally kind of fitting it where it feels like it needs to be. So I said our last two bars is, yeah, I like money, bet you do too. I'm a real rapper, working in the booth. Okay, cool. So we have 12 bars. We only need 4 more for a 16. So let's get her done. I know you're tired of watching. Real rapper, working in the booth, living in the studio. That is like my home. Living in the studio. That is like my home. So that's kind of it's not a stretch at all, but I kind of had to force the way I said that. Living in the studio, that is like my home. No one would say those words. And some people are more peculiar about it, like Ludacris, for example, writes in complete sentences. Like, he doesn't do half thoughts. And a lot of this is kind of set up in smaller thoughts, but he does full things. So living in the studio, that is like my home. You could change that and be like, living in the studio because that is my home, or living in the studio not far away from home, or living in the studio about to go back home, or whatever. So you can just put kind of whatever you want in there when it makes sense. Living in the studio, that is like my home. That is like a home. I'm too grown. That is like my home. I'm aging quite well. Other words, I'm too grown. That is like my home. I'm aging quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. So that one, you can tell that I stuck more syllables in it. But once you get, once you're able to pick out some of the nuances, you're able to start words like earlier in the beat, or like later, or like add syllables in the right place. Because this is all single time. You could be rhyming twice, every bar, or 4 times, or a million times, honestly. Break it down in a lot smaller segments, or like rapping faster. So instead of living in a studio, that is like my home. I'm aging quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. It could be like, can't stop, I'm getting profits. I'm being honest. This is the way I do this. I'm never taking no losses. We all bosses here. This is the way we do it, and we move and continue and improving this music. So that's like a more double time way of rapping. But we're just learning what bars are right now. So don't push it, but again, kind of do what comes naturally, but use this as a way to like structure, figure out how to structure your song, your verse. So we're actually on 14. We just did 14, we're going to 15. So I said, living in a studio, that is like my home. I'm aging quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. Getting kind of old. No, I don't want to say that. So this is the first time I've actually crossed something out. I often cross a lot of things out. Lately, I've just kind of been writing more, taking the time to figure out what I want to say before I write, and using the reason I suggest paper is because it's laid out in bars by lines. You can write this on your phone, but as soon as you press enter, you can confuse yourself of where a bar ends. I do write differently on my phone. You could write it like this. But that's why paper's easier to figure out at the beginning. I'm aging quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. In other words, I'm too grown. Yup, have a good day. Alright, in other words, I'm too grown. I hope you have a great day. Words, I'm too grown. I hope you have a great day. So that one's a little different because I have the additional pause at the beginning of that bar. So I'm quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. In other words, I'm too grown. I hope you have a nice day. So that's kind of got another pause in it, but that's just naturally. So I'm just gonna finish it, and I think it'll make sense. So, great day. Have a great day. Living in a studio, that is like my home. I'm aging quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. I hope you have a great day. I said I like money. I'm trying to get paid. So I had crossed out that word before the I hope you had a great day, because I was going to say getting old. I didn't want to say that, so I changed my mind. dots above it, because that's like a pause, right? So I know that when I hit that, I need to pause for that beat and start it later on in the bar. A lot of times you're starting right at the beginning, like starting right here. I'm trying to make it clear, but you could do like starting clear, trying to get here, da 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 da. You know, like any kind of flow. That's where your own personal flow will come into play. So we have our 16. So let's hear this out. Hear me out, fam. All right. So now for coming in, I just wait till it sounds right, but you can count. So like let's count 4 bars and then we'll start. Now this beat is just loop, so we don't need to. We can just start wherever we feel like. But let's count out 4 bars and then we'll start, because that'll be like where the drop is, and I can add a drop. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's count 4 more. 5, 6, 7. I'm coming in strong. Look at me, I'm buff. They said I'm ferocious, cause I'm so tough. You cannot ignore this. Yes, I'm the plug. I'm coming after them. Got their money on the run. This is what I does. This is what I do. Oh, it's so simple. Rapping with the crew. Every day I'm out here, always making moves. Live the life I want to, just the way I choose. No, I'll never stumble, walking just fine. I'm a go-getter, always go for mine. Yeah, I like money, bet you do too. I'm a real rapper, working in the booth. Living in the studio, that is like my home. I'm aging quite well, in other words, I'm too grown. I hope you have a great day. I said I like money, I'm trying to get paid. Sure. So that's our 16. I'll hold this in front of the camera for a little bit so you can kind of analyze it. Feel free to pause if you want to look at it. So there's 16. You can count the lines, you can count them, and you can tell the rhyming word is always at the end. So let me do some highlights on this so you can know where the rhymes are. Center, but I underlined the rhyming words, so your rhymes are going to be just like at the end there, and what you're saying is basically building up to that. Now when you're breaking it down to more advanced bar writing, you're setting up punchlines. You're going to start at the 4th bar and work your way back to the 1st bar sometimes, where you're going to figure out like, oh, I want to rhyme a metaphor with trees. Now I'm going to make that the last word, like I'm like a tree, which is kind of a weird line, but like like a tree is your 4th. So now you want to like build up to be like digging in my roots. Skin is real tough. Got them green leaves. I'm a tree. Like I don't know, it's crazy, but you know, see how I built up to the bar, and then when it drops, like oh shit, he's a tree. Like you know, and the better your bar are, sometimes you want to be able to guess them, and sometimes you don't want people to be able to guess them. You want them to hear everything and then be like, oh snap, there's the metaphor at the end. But we're not doing all that. So I'm gonna do this rhyme again, and this time in front of the camera. Let's see how I do this. So I don't know if it's gonna work at all, but I'm gonna restart the beat. We're gonna count in our first 8 bars because there's no drop or anything, and then I will go through this line by line. Hopefully you can see it. buff. They said I'm ferocious cause I'm so tough. You cannot ignore this, yes I'm the plug. I'm coming after them, got their money on the run. This is what I does, this is what I do. Oh, it's so simple, rapping with the crew. Every day I'm out here, always making moves. Live the life I want to, just the way I choose. No, I'll never stop, stumble, walking fine. I'm a go-getter, always go for mine. Yeah, I like money, bet you do too. I'm a real rapper, working in the booth, living in the stew. That is like my home, I'm aging quite well. In other words, I'm too grown. I hope you have a great day. I said I like money, I'm trying to get paid. Okay, so that one different. I kind of delivered it differently. It's because the action of pointing on the paper. Jeez, look at this handsome face. That's like because the act of writing on the paper or pointing to it just kind of changed the way I was thinking, and so I delivered it differently. But you can see how that played out. I'm gonna cut this one here, so that's just bars. That's 16 bars, 16 measures. So you'll get your first 16 done, and I encourage you to record it and upload it and send it to me. Big Sherm, BIGGGSHERM @gmail.com. It's Big Sherm with 3 G's, or that's the same username anywhere. But this has been writing bars, part of writing raps for aspiring MCs. So I hope you get your first 16 done. I want to hear about it. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them. Thanks.